Yeah, I was trying to figure out a way, like, JK is like, just kidding. So I was like, that's not good. Can't do that. And then Kirsten was born in May and I was born in July. And I was like, oh, 5th and 7th. And then I said it and I was kind of like, oh, for some reason it kind of has like that. Like, for some reason, I think I said like 5th Avenue in my mind. And I called you and I was like, what do you think of 5th and 7th? And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, for our business.
You're listening to the Behind the Village podcast.
Our guests today are Jordan and Kirsten from 5th and 7 Custom Contracting.
Jordan and Kirsten, thank you guys for actually coming and being part of the podcast, right? You guys are the owners, if I'm saying it correctly, but you guys are the owners of 5th and 7 Custom Contracting, right?
That's right.
Awesome.
Right. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We're excited.
Yeah. So why don't we start by you guys kind of telling us a little bit about, yourselves.
So Jordan and I met in high school, actually. And then we started dating during high school. And then both went to school in different spots in Ontario. And then we're from the area, but we moved to Hamilton for about 7 years. And Jordan worked in the construction industry the entire time after he was finished schooling. And I started my teaching career. Since then, I've kind of backed off a little bit from teaching with the business. It's getting kind of busy and to manage both. And then 2 toddlers is a little bit tricky, but we lived in Hamilton and our journey kind of started because we bought our very first home. It was about 900 square feet and we decided to do a renovation to it. And we loved it. And we kind of continued to do that. So we kept buying and flipping our own personal homes just for fun and to make money for ourselves. And we realized that we really loved flipping homes and renovating them. And we worked really well together doing that. And so the time came where we decided we wanted to move home to try to start our family. And so we came home. Jordan worked with my stepdad for a year, who's also a builder. And then we decided to kind of dive right in beginning of COVID and start our own business.
That's always fun, beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't see it coming, but it actually worked out really well. Everyone thought the market was going to be slow and, people weren't going to be able to work. And it was the opposite. I mean,
For our industry.
Yeah, the construction industry, yes, the prices were up, but within a month or two of not only starting our own projects, but we booked out for upwards of a year with everybody else's projects. And then, yeah, we've just kept that pace ever since. And I mean, we work really hard at it, but it's been a really good start. And I think we're in year 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask is like, when did 5th and 7 actually get started? Was it 5 years ago?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, roughly 5 years ago. Because we were pregnant with our first son at the time too. So it was everything at once.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, just adding on. That's great.
Right. But through that, we succeeded. So we thought, okay, we can really make a go of this. And we started building a house. We bought a house in Ramera Township and basically took it right down to the foundation and built a completely brand new house on top of it, essentially. And that was our first foray into building from the ground up by ourselves completely. And it went really, really well. And we loved the whole process and continued to do that. And then we started building for other people and renovations tucked in there. And it's been fun. It's been very busy, but it's been fun. And we like doing it together. So
yeah, for sure.
You guys have, I guess, complementary skill sets that make it, because I know for some people, especially like, partners or spouses, it's just like it'll break them. It doesn't bring them together to build businesses. So I was just curious, how is that what kind of makes it work for you two?
I think so.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I have an eye for how it's built and the process that it takes.
More than an eye, but yes.
Sure. Yeah. And the ability to actually do it. But Kirsten has such a good eye for design and just the details that I don't even know how many times a day I call her and I'll be like, hey, I'm just looking at this and we're about to start framing this, or, what's your end goal? What's your thoughts on that? And yeah, she just has a great way of making it clear, which sounds crazy that like she's not even there and she can clarify it for me, but I'm looking at it on the structural side or the process of putting it together, and she has an idea of what she wants it to look like at the end. And yeah, most of the time she's right.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
works.
Jordan has all the formal training in terms of background in construction. He has a degree in architectural technology. And so he's got all of the educational background for that. Whereas me, for design, it's been more of something that I've just kind of taken up as like a hobby, and it's grown into something more, which is really cool because I never really saw myself going down that route. But I've enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, I think the two skill sets match really well together. And then I sort of take on the administrative role as well, to keep the business in the back end going. So
In the early days, though, there were definitely some times where, especially on like our first couple projects, where you're not doing it as a business, you're doing it as yourself, right? And
Right.
11 o'clock at night, and I'm like finishing something, and she'll come downstairs, and it's. I'd really like if we could maybe move this over like a couple inches, and that's when you're like, sure,
Okay.
no problem.
But that's one of those things that I don't know, a lot of people have in the back of their head that you can't. I don't know, like I don't, I think it's a kind of normal thing, but a lot of people have it in the back of their head that they can't work with spouses because the stressors that you put on in business, right? Deadlines or all these kinds of things, but just kind of pile on. And then at some point you have to break and you have to go back up and, make dinner or help with the kids. But you still, you were just talking about something that you couldn't
Right.
agree on, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's one of those things.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. But I for us, it's never really been too much of an issue. Like, obviously, there's been times where we've butted heads on decision making about some certain project aspects, but for the most part, we agree on almost everything. And especially like if it comes to anything structural or anything, he takes the lead on that. Anything design wise, he lets me take the lead on that. So we kind of balance each other out that way, where we're not butting heads over the same issues, really. So
Cool.
it works well, and yeah, translates okay in the home area too.
I'm curious about kind of the flow of how it works, because I believe June did some research on your website, and you kind of talk about right from initial planning stages of a build through to, obviously completion. How does that work? In general, I guess, how does that work with your
And
clients?
and for your business, do you do something that I don't know other people don't do? I'm not sure if all construction companies or all contracting companies do what you do, which is right from the start all the way to the finish, right?
Not everyone wants to do that early stage because it is very tedious, whether you're dealing with a township or a building department or planners or conservation authorities. Some people just want to generally be that contractor where you tell me when you're ready and we'll build it. But it's a big hurdle for a lot of people who, especially if you want a custom home built, that early stage, just the pricing, the budgeting, getting even to being permit ready is difficult, and it can take over a year sometimes, of just dealing with these townships or engineers or whatever specifics your project entail. But we do it because it helps
Yeah, I
helps the
think
project roll the way we want it to.
yeah, I think it takes a lot of the pressure off of the clients too, because a lot of clients come to us saying, we want to build a house, but we have no idea where to start. And of course they wouldn't, right? I mean, it's a
Yeah.
very difficult process. There's a lot of different steps involved, and a lot of steps that they wouldn't even know that they have to go through, all the hoops. And so I think kind of what sets us apart from other builders that maybe offer the same services that we do is that we're a very small builder. It's Jordan and I, and then we have a couple of employees under 5th and 7, and then we have our trades that we work with. But we're not this huge builder working on 10 to 20 homes a year. I mean, we take on anywhere from 2 to 3, maybe 4 homes, but generally no more than 3 in a given year, so that we can really focus on all of those details and make sure that we're not skipping any steps, and that we can have these personal relationships with our clients so that they feel comfortable. And if they have questions, they don't come to, some administrator who then talks to the general contractor who then talks to this person. Like, they just come directly to us. So I think that's a big part of what sets us apart from other builders, for sure.
Yeah, and
That's really nice.
I totally see that, because we work in a similar way. You and me are involved in a lot of the projects and a lot of the businesses that we do, including the Villager and this and the podcast. And it's one of those things that you just kind of get used to, the fact that you end up building relationships with people, right? In businesses, at least nowadays, is I want to know that somebody's going to take care of me, but somebody that I can trust, right? And trust develops by feeling that this is not just someone that is gonna be there for like a couple months and then just gonna leave, but it's someone that I can always talk to, is someone that I can always ask questions, someone that I feel like I know, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's the big draw to starting our business back in Aurelia too. I mean, we could have potentially done this in Hamilton, but it didn't have the same draw to us because we are from this community. We grew up here, both of us, individually and together, and we love Aurelia in the area. And we really thrive on making those relationships in the community. And I think since we've started our business, you especially have really dove right into it and made a lot of community ties. And that's a nice feeling to know that, we're a part of this community and we're giving back in ways. So.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask
Yeah.
about the name 5th and 7, because I think it's super cool. And I know we chatted about it on the phone, but I think it's how did you arrive at that name?
It took a lot of thinking, but that one was all Jordan. You want to?
I spend a lot of time in my truck. I'm listening to podcasts and just driving and thinking, and I'm on the phone all the time. And I was driving to one of our projects, I think, and actually, I guess it wasn't one of our projects. It was our house we were building at the time.
Yeah, prior to starting.
And I'm thinking, O'Coin Contracting. Just wordy. My mom happened to be a business owner in town, and everyone knows that last name in that industry. And I didn't really I wanted a separation from that. And then, her parents are builders, so we couldn't really go down that sort of name route. And yeah, I was trying to figure out a way, like JK is like just kidding. So I was like, that's not good. Can't do that. And then Kirsten was born in May and I was born in July. And I was like, oh, 5th and 7th. And then I said it and I was kind of like, oh, for some reason it kind of has like that. Like, for some reason, I think I said like 5th Avenue in my mind, and I called you and I was like, what do you think of 5th and 7th? And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, for our business. And yeah, and then we had to get contracting in there somehow. But we like the idea of doing custom homes.
Yeah.
So then we put custom in. And then now when I spell it out to people and I'm trying to say my email and stuff, I'm like, I think I made this a little too long, but we just basically say 5th and 7th now.
Yeah. But I would say 99% of people that come up to us say, we love your business name. Like, what does it mean? Tell us about it. Mm-hmm. And that's, a really good thing, because it's not just O'Coin Contracting. Like, you see that on the side of a truck and you're not going to look twice. But something like 5th and 7th, we're hoping, people see that and start recognizing it. It's Jordan and I, right? It's giving that right off of the business name, that it's 2 people, family-run business that are working to build homes for people in the community. So
I like that.
I think it's a good one.
It's so cute.
It's pretty awesome. I did have this question. So what is your service area? Because, contracting, I'm assuming it could be really anywhere. I don't actually know, but what's your service area?
I mean, we like to stick within about an hour from Coldwater, basically Aurelia, Muskoka, Collingwood.
Yeah.
We'll go out past Brecken, that area, but every time I go to Barrie to get something, I'm just like, oh, this is too busy for me. So I try to avoid Barrie.
Yeah.
Totally get it. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite not a favorite home because they're custom, so they're all different. But is there maybe a stage or a phase that you love?
You probably do.
Yeah, my favorite would probably be the initial stage of designing and meeting with the clients and seeing what kind of home they're looking for, and we'll take their ideas and come together with like a little Pinterest board with inspiration, and then we'll take that to our designer who will do the renderings for us.
I love just breaking ground, honestly. Footings, foundation, and starting framing, because those steps are so
Happens quickly.
yeah, they're so big. Like, the clients they'll come by one day, we break ground, hey, come see the holes open, right? And they get excited, and they may not come back for 4 weeks, and then first floor walls are up and they go, wow, like it's so much bigger. Or that always tricks people too when they walk through their home at framing stage.
Or smaller.
Yeah, and everyone thinks that the space feels very small at framing stage for some reason. And I think it's because you can't get a sense of the room size because you're looking through these void in the walls. And then as soon as we drywall, everyone walks in and they get a sense of space. And yeah, it's always, you can always see it. I swear every customer we have who comes through, once the walls are boarded, that, wow, it's so much bigger, and something, I get that comment every time. So I just personally like the breaking ground part though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
What questions do you think someone should be asking, or to find someone that is actually, trustworthy, right? And
We're both thinking the same thing.
So if you're doing a full build, you need to have a license to build in Ontario. You need a Tarion license. If you're just looking for a contractor, you want their insurance and you want their WSIB. Because if they're not even willing to take those two basic things, then
yeah,
they're definitely not trying to be above board.
For sure.
Right? And I mean, then honestly, a reference. If you call somebody and say, hey, can I talk to one of your previous customers, or a contract, like we have a list of trades that's, I don't know, 10 to 15 long, who we've used since the day we opened our doors. I've been to high school with some of these guys who are now business owners too. Say, hey, we're looking to get Jordan to do our addition. What do you think? And they'd probably say, yeah, sure, great.
I would say the number one thing though, if you're looking to have a custom home or just a home build, is to ask, do you have Tarion? Do you have Tarion warranty? Because a lot of people in this area too are builders and they do not have Tarion warranty. And a lot of people don't know that that's a question that they should ask. And so, they go through the whole process. They have a home built. There's some sort of issue. They somehow learn about Tarion. So they call Tarion up and say, we have an issue with our builder. And Tarion says, we have no record of this house, this builder. So then it's like a whole legal process and everything. But we actually just had a couple come to us with that exact issue, where they started with a builder who did not have Tarion. And they started the initial stages of the foundation, found out that he did not have Tarion, and they pulled back and then came to us about it. So that was, unfortunately, that's a common issue. But I would say if that's one thing people take away from this podcast, is check to make sure that your builder, if you're doing a full build from the ground up, has Tarion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really important. Yeah.
And for people that maybe don't know what it is, I know there's a lot that goes into Tarion, but what is maybe like a quick explanation of what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's a license that you have to obtain through, you can call it schooling. It's up, I believe, 10 to 12 courses you have to take. A huge financial background check on the builder to make sure they can afford the fees that are associated with it. The insurance liabilities you need to carry. And then we, as the builder, are responsible for that home for 7 years on different varying levels year by year. But up to 2 years. I mean, if you have an issue with your home, we're coming back. And we're not going to say you owe us the bill. I mean, we're on the hook because we stand behind our work. And that's one of the problems I think you get with these, fly-by-night contractors, or people who maybe only want to do one part of a build. That's why we like to do the whole thing, and we really want to pick our trades, because we've had that conversation with them. Hey, guys, if there's an issue with that generator or the hot water tank in a year, it's on you, and stand behind your work. Don't put something that's not quality in the home, because we build with the Tarion license, and you've got to uphold your end too. And that's where you get the quality at the end of the day.
Most people feel very reassured to know that Tarion is a thing, because who's looking out for the best interests of the homeowner, right? It's Tarion that's doing that. And so before we sign a contract, we have to apply for basically a license to build this home, and then we have to put up a large chunk of money up in front of signing any contracts. And then we don't get that back for up to 3 years. So it really puts us on the hook too, to make sure, that we're doing what we're saying we're going to be doing. And I think people feel a little bit more reassured when they hear that. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, that would totally, kind of make someone feel better, that at least like more likely you are going to stand by your product, right? But the industry is filled with, tight deadlines and, budgets that you need to keep up with. How are you able to kind of work and maneuver through that, especially with a custom build, which I feel like the sky is the limit, really. You could do any number of things with a custom build, because you're starting from zero, right? So how do you kind of work within all those deadlines?
Yeah, it's true. Just saying the sky's the limit. It's funny. A lot of people contact us and say, we want to build a house. How much is it going to cost? And we're like, okay, there's a lot of variables there that we need to talk about. We can't just throw out a number. But we start off with a pretty extensive quote that takes us, I would say, up to a month or more to get together for each client, based off of a questionnaire that we'll give them, or we'll FaceTime, Zoom, meet in person, whatever that is, to see exactly what they want, what kind of finishes they want. And then based off of all of those, our quotes are roughly 4 to 6 pages long, I would say. Maybe more, depending on what they want, with a breakdown of each item that really details exactly what it is that they're paying for and how much they're going to be paying for that item.
That's where a lot of the time too, we spend a lot of hours in those early days, weeks, months, whatever it is, of the process, because without a decent design drawing, I can't give you an accurate price at all. So we need that design process to be as tight as possible.
How has the industry been changing, right, as you kind of have gone through, and how's it changing right now, right, that you guys have to deal with, like, for example, the tariffs?
It's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster. Yeah, we had a lot of interest prior to Trump's administration, and ready to go for spring. And then once he started talking about tariffs, we had 3 projects go, okay, we're not so sure about this right now, because they didn't know how it was going to affect, right? A lot of our clients tend to be retirees or close to retirees. And so, money is in stock markets, etc. And they get a little bit nervous, understandably so, right? And so we've had to sort of manage that a little bit. But, when we lose one bid, another one comes along. So it's worked out for us so far, but we definitely have to roll with the punches a little bit, because, these tariffs are affecting all kinds of different industries, not just the construction industry. But
not just tariffs too. The real estate market has been something that we watch all the time, because it's something that we both personally like. But a lot of our clients, for example, have, maybe they have a house in the city, right? And they're selling it and they want to retire to their cottage, but they need to renovate that cottage. It's been in their family for 30 something years, right? And they'll come to us and say, let's do a design. Let's get this ready. And then they'll say, well, we're sitting waiting because our money's tied in our home in Toronto, and that thing's selling. So we get to that spot and we're sitting right at the start line, and we're just sort of idling and waiting and waiting. And this real estate market has been, unlike anything we've experienced. We are younger, but it's so slow right now, and it's definitely affecting some customers.
What does the future kind of look like for 5th and 7? What is it that your goals are, your plans are?
It's a big list. honestly, a little bit more growth. Maybe, I don't even know if I want the company to double. Maybe double, but no more. I don't want a massive company where I spend enough time on the phone. I don't want to only be on the phone all day. Do you know what I mean? And if the business gets a little bit bigger, then I'm happy. But if we keep on the pace that we're at and have some steady growth, then that'd be amazing. But I think
enough that we can handle with, the two of us leading it. We don't necessarily want to get so big where, we don't have our fingers in every single project. That I think is the charm to our business, is that we are so heavily involved in each one. So we wouldn't want that to change for sure, but definitely.
I always want an on-site presence. Like that's just, I love that. Like when I wake up in the morning and first coffee, but after that, then I want to get to the job. Like I love getting to the job site. Even if I don't put on a tool belt that day. But just something about
There's more often than not, you're not.
Honestly, it's like 4.5 days a week. I'm not wearing it anymore, but I love the chance to put it on. Maybe my guys don't like when I put it on, but yeah, if the business grew enough still to the point where I could be on site every day, whether it's one or two different sites, and you can be at site when you need to be. But I just don't want it to get too big.
I think our biggest priorities are family, and we acknowledge that also might be the priority of our staff too. So, overtime hours is very rare for us. If
we don't work weekends.
No, don't work weekends.
No.
And, we really prioritize family, and I think that won't ever change. So we want to keep it like that and keep it a family business. We really appreciate the people that work for us and that we work with. And we'd like to keep it status quo for the most part, I would say.
Yeah. That's an amazing, I guess, thought process to have, because I feel like we are of that same manner. Like we're like, the common theme in business was always, in the olden days, I guess, was like you just keep growing, you build this massive business, you create this whole entire thing. But I think a lot of it is now changing to just there's an enough there. Like there's a place where you can be happy and you can be fulfilled and you can get, you may not know exactly where it is, but it's not just growth at all costs. Right. It's growth with purpose, growth with intention, right?
Yeah.
To serve something that you believe in.
Yeah. One of the main reasons we started our own business was so that we could have that work family balance, and when our kids get older and they have basketball practices or games, we want to be able to go to those and not have to ask a boss if we can take off time or whatever. And that has definitely paid off in spades, just to know that that's the route we're headed down. And, if we want to take off a Wednesday because we want to go do something as a family together, we can rearrange our schedules to do that. And that's the best part, I think, about owning our own business. It comes with a whole other set of challenges, and it's probably the hardest thing in the world. It's easier to just clock in and out at the end of the day and not think anything else. But this was really important for us, and this is how we saw a way to do that.
There's a lot of 8 o'clocks at nights where we're still sitting at the counter, pricing projects or quoting or typing up proposals. And it's like, why don't we have office hours? But every hour is an office hour for us because we just put the kids to bed, and it's like we've got like 2 hours before we really need to be in bed because we're going to be up in 8 hours and do it all over again. So let's capitalize on these 2 hours. But like you said, it gives us a Wednesday off when we need to or whatever. And it's truly worth it.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Love it. So for people that are interested in, potentially hiring you for your services and stuff like that, what's your website or your social media? Where can they contact you?
Yeah, so our website is fifthandseven.com. The number 5, THAND, and then 7 written out, SEVEN.com. And then Instagram is the same, at 5th and 7. And on our website, there's a contact page where they can fill out their information about what they're looking for, and they can check off whether they want us to call them or email them back. And we're usually within 24 hours, we get back to people.
Amazing. Yeah. Is there anything else then that we wanted to talk about that we may not have gotten around to?
I don't think so.
No, it's just fun.
Yeah, this was really fun.
Thank you guys very much for joining our podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for listening to the entire episode. All the links and info you heard in this conversation will be featured in the show notes on our website, villagermagazine.ca/podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing to our channels like YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you're listening from, so you never miss an episode. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.